Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. Very nice to be back with you all. Thank you for joining us after a brief hiatus. While we're on hiatus, the Cardinals just completely bottomed out. They are now 8.5 games out of the Central, 4.5 games out of the wild card, and it does sort of feel like you can blame everyone for the Titanic right now.
Yeah, we'll get into specifics here in a little bit because
Oh,
there's a
hold
lot
on.
of
Do we
stuff.
have enough time? Like, I know we've been gone for a while, and I'm sorry about that, but you did move back to the 618. I was gone for a couple days and everything else, so we do apologize for the breakdown. But do we really have enough time to get into the shit show that is now the St. Louis Cardinals organization?
Well, there's some stuff I really think we need to talk about, but it just I think someone said on Twitter today that the organization, the Cardinal way as we knew it under Bill DeWitt, was born and died with Albert Pujols. And I think
Okay.
that's where we're at. I think it's dead. Um I mean, obviously, with their 4.5 games out, so we'll start here. Is there a world where they go on an improbable run? It's unlikely, but yeah, they've done it before. We've seen it. So we could be in a week coming back here and they've won 6 of 7 and we're all happy and like they're back in the picture. That could happen. But as of right now, I don't see any way that happens. And I don't think this is only the end of the season that we're at right now. I think it's the end of what we know as the Cardinals organization. I think there's going to be a lot of major changes in the offseason if this continues the way it's going. And I can't give you one singular stat. Now I can't give you one stat from any area of the team that's positive. Not one. So
Is it? I appreciate the Pujols analogy there. That's fine because he did come back for 1 year. That was fun, and then we went 0-2 in the playoffs. But is it also just equally? And this is something I've been touting for a long time. Equally as plausible to say the Cardinal way also died when Tony left and they hired Mike Matheny. Because yes, I know we got to a World Series. I understand that. However, there has not been sustained success like there was under Tony. There has not been the urgency from the dugout to make things happen for the team, nor has there been the urgency in the front office to make things happen either.
the only reason I wouldn't say that, I think that was probably the beginning of the end of it. But I would say 2012 through 2015 was still pretty great. So I wouldn't say
Okay, that's valid.
because like 2015, like they won 100 games in 2015.
And
Like they
didn't
were
win a playoff series.
yeah, but in 2014 they went to the NLCS. Like they had a legitimately great streak from 2011 to 2015 of
Okay.
baseball. So I wouldn't say so.
Is there the argument, just asking, that that's the after Tony effects of what was still going on?
I think it was just honestly, I think it was just the organization was still ahead of its time with pitching development.
Okay.
And then it got passed.
And it also feels like we were also living, feasting off the NL Central for a long time there when now we
Well,
went
in
to a
that
balanced
era,
schedule.
in that era, the NL Central was pretty good.
Okay,
But
so
yeah,
we said 60 and 61. I, at the beginning of the year, said they were going, I felt like this was an 80 win team, right? Then I came back June 1st and said, oh, maybe this is like, I got fooled. Remember when I stood
Mhm.
down here quite often and said the Brewers were Fugazi, in my opinion? I was wrong. The Cardinals were the team who was Fugazi. And I will gladly admit defeat on that. So I said 80. That means they have to go 20. Math is not my strong suit, but we got 41 games, right? So I got to go 20 and 21. I don't know that I see a world where 80 wins is even going to happen for this organization. I do love your thought that process that we could go 6 of 7 against the Dodgers and whoever
No,
we
I didn't
play
say we
after that.
could. I said if
Right.
they
But
did
I
it, then we'd have
I
a different
do feel
tone.
like I might have a better shot at winning that 435 mega million tonight than the Cardinals have of winning 6 of the next 7. This team, have you seen like a more lackluster team in baseball sans
Well,
the
yes.
Chicago White Sox,
I mean
then
the Rockies and the Oakland Athletics.
okay. So no, Oakland plays with fire. Look at what Brent Rooker's doing. Look at what
Oakland's
Zach Yellow's
awful.
doing. Like,
Okay, they're awful.
look
They're
at what
awful.
Lawrence Butler's doing. I understand that, but at least they have a few guys fun to watch. Do the Cardinals have anybody fun to watch right now?
Contreras and Helsley
Okay,
and Win.
okay.
Mason Wynn's fun. Those three. I think we need to get into like a specific here that I think's alarming, not just for the rest of this year. I think they're done this year. I'm just going to be honest. Like they're not going to make the playoffs. So whatever. We can move past this year for now. For next year and go moving forward. What's wrong with his offense? And I sat here May something and said there is zero reason for Turner Ward to still have a job. Why does he still have a job?
Well, we
Like
know why.
explain to me, like I'm 5 years old, how the old players that like him are career worst this year. They're all of them across the board. Um, there's only been 2 young players that have taken even remote steps forward, and it's Wynn and Burleson. Everyone else has either plateaued and gotten worse. Actually, they've all gotten worse. There's not one
Yes.
player outside of those two that hasn't gotten worse. They're the only 2 players that got better. Like Wilson Contreras, Burleson, and Wynn, the only 3 players that have gotten better or stayed the same. Everybody else in the organization that's gone up to the big leagues this year has gotten worse. And he's still here. How?
Was there an argument that you could throw Michael Ciani and Pedro Pajes into the have
No.
gotten better?
No, they're bad hitters. So no. Like, no,
Um,
sorry,
yeah, I
you're not
think
as
it's a valid
horrible as you
question, and
made
it
yourself
makes
in.
you wonder. And we've asked this question, and unfortunately, a few years ago, I told you I think we're in for a very dark future with the Cardinals for a while, and then they fugazied us with the Albert Pujols thing in 2021 and or 22, I
Totally
mean,
do.
and then we all of a sudden bought in, and then we got hit with last year. I don't know the answer other than it sure does feel like everybody screams about player development. Pitching development. Let me separate pitching from hitting development for right now, just for this argument. But the Cardinals have developed major league hitters. They have. Like you can't just pick and choose and say, well, they haven't, but yet ignore what Gorman did last year, ignore what Burleson has done this year, ignore what Mason went. You can't lump it all into one. So I would say for that part, but I don't think they have a very good idea of how to choose which one they've developed and who they should be playing. We're seeing it right now, and I'm sure this is one of the things you really want
Let's
to get
not get into
into.
Walker yet. Let's not get into
Okay, but
Walker
we're
yet.
seeing that right now. We've seen
No,
it.
but I don't agree with even that point. Why are they all getting worse? Who's gotten better? Name
Yeah.
me one player over the last 10 years, 5 years, since Matt Carpenter, that has played a season, been pretty solid, promising, and then the next year come out and been better.
Well, could
Gotten
you
better.
argue Newbar 2 years ago and then
No, I'm
last year?
talking about like a full year where he was good and then he gets better or stays the same. Newport didn't do that. Newport's
We
best year
thought
was
it
in
would, to be fair,
2021,
Caleb, we thought it was
2022.
Brendan Donovan because the first
He's
half
gotten
was
worse
very
every
good.
year. He's gotten worse every year since his rookie year. So who is it? Which player? What is their major league staff doing? Like they can develop players and get into the big leagues. Their major league staff doesn't make players better. Any of them. They should
No.
all be gone. Every single player in that, every single person in that dugout right now shouldn't have a job in 2025. It should be a completely new team.
But you know that's
Completely
not
new.
that's the problem. We all know that's not going to happen.
I don't agree. I think John Mosaic will be gone after this season, probably under his own volition. Every writer I've seen is kind of saying he's probably gonna like I think he's gonna step down. And then I think if you're ownership and you're not stupid, you say Heimblum or whoever it is, probably Heimblum, you pick an entirely new coaching staff. If you want to keep guys, then fine, but it's your choice. None of
Let
these
me
guys
ask you
should be here.
this. Let me just ask you this to play that I want to believe what you're saying, but I don't trust this organization at all. One, we heard the comments from BDJ the third, BD the third, right? About how if fans don't show up, we're not spending money. So what makes you think that they wouldn't promote Michael Gersh into that role over Heimblum?
Because who's better at saving money, Michael Gersh or Heimblum?
You and I know that. That's not what I'm
Who's the
saying.
best? If you're looking to save money, what's the president of baseball operations you're going after right now that doesn't have a job?
We agree. We
The one that's
agree.
currently in their organization that ran the Rays for years and traded Mookie Betts.
All right. So let's
Like
hope
he's the perfect fit, right?
there's just so many things to talk about. There's so many layers. It's like an onion or a Shrek. There's so many layers. I don't even know like where you start with this organization right now because you're right. The regression. Everybody told me Lars Newpart was a future superstar. Lars Newpart's regression is fat. He
Yeah,
talk
he's
about jumping off the cliff. Like he's
hold
followed
on.
his buddy Goldie and Nolan right off the cliff. And I thought Bernie brought up an interesting point, and he did not direct it towards Newt specifically, but he did say there are certain people in those clubhouse who attach themselves, essentially is what he said, I'm paraphrasing, to the right players in the clubhouse, and they become part of that pack. And we know who he's talking about. The ones that are untouchable, that are in the lineup every night, no matter what they do, even though we're platooning Jordan Walker and we don't know what to do with
Let's get
anybody
to
else.
Jordan Walker in a second. That needs to be
I'm
a
just
whole
throwing
other
that as part
conversation.
of what's going on.
Lars Nootbaar in the last month versus right-handed pitching. Okay, the people he's supposed to hit because he's a left-handed hitter. 130 batting average, 186 on base percentage, 204 slug for a 10 WRC plus. I mean, if I am the Cardinals organization, if I'm the person that's taking over for Mo, because I would bet a lot of money. I don't think Mo's the guy next year. I really don't. Um, I'm who are you like building around? Burleson, Wynn, and Contreras? Everybody else can go. I don't care to keep anyone else other than Walker. Those four. Everybody else can go. Like who do you want here? Brendan Donovan, okay, if he's your 8 hitter next year. If you go in and he's your 8 hitter, okay, fine. He's
So
not
let
a
me
top
ask you
6 hitter in their
this.
lineup.
Why do you believe then that Ali has attached the future of the season, his hitch essentially, to guys like all I hear is how Ali is playing the numbers, and he's an analytics guy. And if
He
you couldn't,
hasn't been
if
lately.
that okay, so let me finish my question. All right, my question is that's all I hear is that he can't put his iPad down, but yet he has those numbers on Lars there, and Lars is playing every night. What is the justification for what is happening? Like, why? I don't understand what he's like. I've been very like supportive of Ali. I can't do that anymore with what's happening right now.
Um, the way he's managed the last like 3 weeks has
Yes,
been like goes flies in the face of everything he was good at. Pinch hitting Brandon Crawford because of a stat he had against Hector Neris from 2019. Are you kidding me?
right.
2019. Um, starting like why would you? Okay, we got to get to Jordan Walker now because this
Well,
is really the
hold on. To
crossover.
add to that, Walker 5 for 7 versus Hunter Green has
Oh yeah,
better
right. Last year.
has better slashes from the right side or versus righties than lefties, and he's on the bench. Like, so give what are we doing? Why? What are we doing?
It's also like using head-to-head matchups is just stupid unless it's like, Miguel Cabrera is good against Max Scherzer and the 50 at bats he has against
Right.
him. If it's 4 for 7, I don't even care about that. The problem is there's a quote out there. Ollie was literally saying that they knew this was a bad idea to bring up Jordan Walker as a platoon bat. Like they knew, but they just did it anyway because I think they know their jobs might be on the line, except for Mo because he won't get fired. But here, I tweeted this out a couple days ago. Here's Jordan Walker's numbers versus right-handed pitching in his career. 280 hitter, 340 on base, 446 slug for a 787 OPS. Really good hitter.
Right.
That's the best hitter on this team, basically, besides Contreras. Left-handed pitching. Smaller sample size, but still over 140 plate appearances. 205, 298, 347 for a 643. That's your platoon bat. Not to mention the fact that he's 22 years old and shouldn't be platooning anyway. He just, for the first time this season, got his footing under him and started going off for the first time this year with promise. So you could have kept him down here anyway and argued bringing him up was stupid no matter what, just so he could continue to have some success. But now you're bringing him up here but in a stretch where they're facing two lefties in the next like 12 games, the way it's lined up right now. 2 weeks ago, they were faced like 5 in a week, and he wasn't up. So you're bringing him up when he's not going to play much. When you had a couple weeks to bring him up if you wanted to, and he's not even good against lefties. He's good against righties. So there's not one reason for why this makes sense, besides the fact that he bats right-handed, which who cares? He bats right-handed. Lars Nootbaar bats left-handed. He can't hit righties. Nolan Gorman bats left-handed. He can't hit a baseball. So I don't care what side of the plate they're batting from. Like, what is he doing?
Do you
You
think
needed a guy to
Ali?
come up and spark the offense. He's the guy to spark the offense, but you're not playing him. You're playing Tommy Pham, who you brought to be that platoon bat off the bench. Like, what are you doing?
Do you think Ali
God, I
yells
can't do it
lefty
anymore.
to the
Probably,
infield when a
dude.
lefty?
Like, can you explain to me how we go into yesterday against a right-handed pitcher?
I
You
I
traded
don't.
for a guy specifically to only hit against lefties, but he's a veteran with fire, so you're afraid to bench him apparently. And you put your 22-year-old, who you've literally been talking about as the future of your organization for 4 years, and you bench him, who's better against righties than Tommy Pham, for the guy who's supposed to be taking that role anyway. What are you doing? Like, what sense does this make? You're not even making moves that are arguable. I said this on Twitter the other day. Most of the times the Cardinals make moves that I might disagree with, but I at least understand why they're doing it. Right? You might be like, oh, I don't really like it. I don't like bringing Palante in against, three lefties, but he is better against lefties. So maybe it makes sense. These aren't even defensible moves. They're just straight up stupid. You're doing dumb things.
Yeah. So
Like,
I worked for a school district for the majority of my teaching career, where I always used the sort of analogy, or not even analogy, but like quote or term that like, hey, if you put all the people in charge, they come up with 5 great ideas, and one would be the dumbest idea you've ever heard, and assuredly we were going with the dumb one every time. Right, the other 5 logical, we're getting rid of those. We're going with the dumbest fucking move we could ever come up with. That is sure feels like what the Cardinals are doing. Because how does no one? This is what I want to ask you. I've always asked you to put your different hats on. Quite often you wear the blue one, but we know that this is not what I'm talking about.
I'm about to take it off and
However,
throw it.
however, how is there not one voice in the organization saying what we're doing is like You've got all the writers to get it. The fans get it. I guarantee the players get, well, most of the players. Some of them, I don't even know if they even care about it anymore. I'm not going to call those people
Well,
out because I don't
I
know
don't
that.
think players think about it the way that we do,
Right.
to be honest with you.
Right. Whatever. But how is not one person in the organization going, what are we doing with Jordan Walker? Why are we doing this with him? You're not winning with the guys that you're putting in there anyway. Let's go with these young guys. Put Victor, put Jordan, put Gorman, put them all in there every night. And just from now on, let's play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. And then there was rumors that they're gonna extend Goldie. If they do that,
Yeah.
I swear,
They're not a serious franchise if they do that.
I I don't even know what to say anymore. They're not good at what they do. How about that? We can just blanket statement. Mozeliak, Ollie, the hitting coach, the pitching coach, because they've made no one better this year. They made actually basically everybody worse. Like Sonny Gray's gotten worse since he's been here. He's a problem we can talk about later. They're all not good at their jobs, or they don't matter. Like that's the thing I was also thinking about earlier. I don't like blaming pitching and hitting coaches. I think it's lazy, especially if it's like, oh, these couple players are struggling right now and you're losing games. But if they don't have any impact in your mind to where like it's not their fault at all that everything's gone to shit, then they shouldn't. Then what are you paying them for?
Right.
What are they getting paid to do? To just sit there like because they're good guys? Because Goldie likes Turner Ward?
That is what it feels like.
Well, okay, Goldie. Maybe if you have an 800 OPS, you can have a hitting coach,
How about a
and even then,
700
probably not.
OPS?
Hey, Nolan, maybe if you didn't act like a big baby all the time, maybe then you could make a choice. Like, I am so over this generation of Cardinal baseball and everything that's come with it. And it's very disappointing that we're here, but I want it all gone. Like all of it. I want all the I'm not nothing against Lance Lynn or Carpenter or Tommy Pham or
Crawford.
some against Arenado. The Crawford wasn't a Cardinal. I just want that era of baseball that they're clinging on to be gone. It doesn't work anymore. We can't do it anymore. Not everyone's Albert Pujols. Okay, and everyone's gonna come back here and be great again. Like it needs to go. And that involves everybody in the front office. They all need
Well,
gone.
let me just let you know. I know you know, but it's getting loud for Albert or Yachty to be the next manager. So just so you
Shouldn't happen.
know, they're all clean. Like the fans there's a very large contention of fans who want to clean on to that.
We know who's going to be the manager if Ollie's fired, right? Like we know it's going to be Skip Schumacher, no doubt about it.
So what is the same as the meet
at
the
least
new
he
boss?
has experience in other organizations. Like at least he went to the Padres, went to the Marlins, had some success. But that would be the guy. And
Hold
I'm
on.
so frustrated
Can I just
because
throw this
I've
out
been the guy.
before we move on? Let me just throw this out. For those who don't know, the Marlins are 31 games out of first place with a negative 160 run differential.
That's not his fault.
Okay. So I'm not let me explain. The same argument then can be made for Ollie. Would Skip be winning with this team, Caleb? No.
I mean, the argument could be made for Ollie if he wasn't doing stupid things on a daily basis.
I mean, we've seen Skip call people out as well. He called young pitchers out. I'm just
That's
saying.
Not what I'm talking about.
Would
Skip Schumacher be playing Jordan Walker right now?
All I'm letting did Mo say do this? We don't know that.
Why would Mo say that?
You've told me all along that Mo helps make the lineup.
No, I actually haven't. The last 2 years, I've told you that's not the case.
Well, that's what you told me for a long time.
But 4 years ago.
It was not. First of all, your time recollection.
Ollie's been here for 3 years. Yeah, and I've been I've defended Ollie a lot on here. Like I've been a guy that said it's not his fault. The things he does make sense. He's good at what he does. I don't understand what happened to him. Did he hit his head? Like seriously, he's gone completely against everything he said. Like what happened? He turned into like trying to be Bruce Bochy or something, where he's trying to like now be an analytical guy that also has a feel for the game. Like I don't understand what's happening with him. Like genuinely, like did he wake up as a different human? Like why is Matt Carpenter hitting against Nathan Eovaldi? I don't even care that it worked. That was stupid. Why is Nolan Gorman still playing? Even like why? He's not a hitter at this point. He's not even a major league hitter. He can't hit the baseball. He's going to be the worst strikeout hitter in a league that's seen Joey Gallo and Adam Dunn, and he's going to strike out like 30 times more than all of them.
I do not. There will be no Adam Dunn hate on this podcast.
I mean, Nolan Gorman's not. What happened to him? He's not even a Major League Baseball player.
First of all, can we not compare Nolan Gorman to Adam Dunn? Please go look up Adam Dunn's career stats. They are unbelievable.
He struck out an insane amount. I
understand, but look at what else he did.
There was a league where Joey Gallo and Adam Dunn played every single day. Every day against lefties, righties, whoever. And Nolan Gorman's going to strike out more than him. He has to play against lefties. Solely against righties, he's going to strike out more.
Before we get to the pitching stuff, which I do think we need to talk about in a little bit, what going forward is your answer. Like, I understand
I don't
the
have
fan
one.
coming out and saying, play your house. They're not going to do that. Because
I
here's the
think they
thing.
will.
Hold on. Here's the problem. You're tied to Michaelis. You're tied to Fetty. You've
Oh,
gone on, hold
okay.
on, let me finish. You've gone on to say, they're going to bring Gibson back. You're tied to Matt. You're tied to, who else did I say there? Yes,
Sonny.
that's it, right? I mean, what do you do?
I'm not worried about the pitching, to be quite honest with you. Even though the pitching, by the way, once again sucks. Like
It's got
20,
a
30,
five and over almost a 6 ERA since June.
I was I'm saying I'm not worried about it because I just don't care anymore about the pitching. I'm tired of talking about it. They're all bad. Sonny Gray, I don't know what happened to you. I'm tired of hearing about his FIP. I don't care. Maybe don't give up 5 home runs every game. Don't care about your FIP. How about that? Um, Miles Michaelis needs, I would attach a prospect to him if anyone was willing to take any of his money, and I would trade him away. Steven Matz, trade him. He's easy to trade. He's $11 million. He should be able to be traded no matter what. Eric Fetty, $7 million. He should be your 5 starter. Disappoint. He's also, by the way, disappointing. Um, who else am I missing? Oh, Gray and Lynn. I mean, Gibson and Lynn. Neither of them should be back next year. You should not pick up either of those options. And then I'd have Palante in my rotation. I'd have Gray in it. And I'd call up starters from the minors because I'm tired of stopgaps. What's it doing for us? Getting us to 80 wins? Yahoo! Like, get him out. I don't
I
want
don't
any more
know.
old people. I want no more old people on this team. I want them all gone. No, if you're over the age of 35, you should be gone.
You're going
Goodbye.
Baltimore Royals. I got bad news for you, dude. Like, I don't think they're getting to 80 wins, and that was my early
Right. So
preseason
there's
prediction.
no reason to do stopgaps anymore. Like, let McGreevy pitch next year. Let which by the way, he
Graceffo.
hasn't even got another chance. If you want to run the Libertor thing again, go ahead, let him. Graceffo, let Henson Matthews make a push at some point in the season. Same with Jerpy and Roby if they can finally stay healthy for a little bit. Let the young guys play. Ask Arenado if he wants out. If he says yeah, because we're running a youth movement, they say okay, give me a list of 5 teams. We'll try to trade you for something, eat some of the salary, and get him out of here. Let Goldie walk. If Contreras wants to leave, it's understandable. Trade him if he wants to. Sonny Gray, same way. That's what I would do. And I'd rebuild. I would rebuild because they're not winning with these guys. There's not. Like, what's the
Yeah,
path forward? The path
right.
forward is Nolan
That's the
Gorman who
concern.
can't hit, or Donovan who can't hit, or Nootbaar who can't hit, or Jordan Walker who isn't even allowed to try to hit, or who Mason Wynn who's should be a 9 hitter on a team, or Alec Burleson who's a platoon DH that they play every day and bat him second. Like, what's the path forward? They don't have a star.
We're in
Name me one team
agreement.
that's won a World Series without a superstar.
Let me know this. I agree. I'm on that boat. I think now too with you. Like, how the tide is turned. By the way, how the turntables.
I'm just over it. I'm
Wasn't
over
that the
this
Michael Scott quote?
organization.
How the
Yeah, I
turntables.
get it.
Either way,
I get it.
relax. By the way, thank you for tuning in because I do feel like everyone in Cardinal Nation is feeling this exact way right now. And yeah, I told you so. People are going to come out. That's fine. Hey, take your pat yourself on the back. Don't pull a rotator cuff. Whatever you got to do, fine. We're okay with that. But when the Cardinals were in it, come the trade deadline, you weren't a soothsayer. You didn't know this was going to happen. No one saw this collapse happen. I don't care what you say.
I will say to some people who were like, "Hey, we should have," who are now saying, "Hey, we should have sold at the deadline," and all that. I get it. Like, and I even
So do
understood their
I.
points at the time, even though I was on here saying I thought it was kind of dumb. Um, I still maintain that any team that's in the playoff hunt should go for it. That's how I always feel, because I think that's what you owe your fans, that you should go for the playoffs when you can get in, especially in this sport. It's not the NFL where you know that there's going to be, if you don't have an elite quarterback, you're not winning the Super Bowl unless you're the Eagles for Nick Foles. Um, like that. So if you have a chance to get in, I think they owe the fans to try and get in, especially after last year. It didn't work out, but I still at least like that they tried. So we'll
Yeah,
say
we're
that
in
too.
agreement on that. I also do understand that argument. It's just I don't agree with it. We look at what they got for Tyler O'Neill. We were excited about that. I think all those guys are out of the organization already within 8 months. So
Another thing that's stupid is that if we want to talk about that, you're DFAing Nick Robertson over Ryan Loudis. Okay,
correct.
what
Yeah,
for? What? Why is Jose
we
Fernandez
don't.
still here?
So let me
Oh,
ask you this. Let's go. Hold on. Let's go
I
back to
can't
your
do it
point. Well,
anymore.
We've talked ad nauseum on here about their ineptness with the 40-man roster, let alone how many times their ineptness with the 26-man roster. So we already that's well documented. Everybody knows they have no clue what they're doing when it comes to that. So let me ask you this. I understand what you said to do. I see no path forward where that happens. In fact, I am almost to the point where they're going to re-sign Kyle Gibson. They're going to extend Paul Goldschmidt. And this is
I don't
and
think
they're
they're
going
gonna
to
do that.
build that and they're going to run it back. I think that's what's going to happen. I hope I'm wrong, but I see
But
no
no one
way.
seems to agree with that. Like no one that's like in the know seems to agree that's what's
Okay,
going to happen.
please understand that I am not trying to say that I know more than anybody. I'm now being the guy who was saying to trade when we wanted them to trade for players. I'm simply speculating that, again, past performance suggests future outcomes. And that's kind of what I'm seeing. That, I mean, the talk for the Goldie extension is already loud. And if they
No,
do that,
it's cooled down significantly since they started losing.
okay, well, I hope that you're
Why
onto
would Goldie
something.
come back? Why would he come back?
Because, okay, I think one thing we've learned about Goldie is when Goldie's comfortable, that's where he wants to be.
I don't know, dude. If you're Goldie and you have like maybe 1, 2 years left, why would you not want to go be a guy that only did platoons on a team that has a chance to win a World Series? That's what I would go do.
Agreed. I don't know that he'll do
He doesn't
that.
even have to move that far. Go to Kansas City.
Right.
Like he
Right.
doesn't even have like seriously, go somewhere. Like they got
Yeah.
embarrassed by the Reds this week. Like and he's actually been pretty
Oh,
good lately. Goldie has.
trounce. They've caught the
I
Cardinals, by the way, in the standings. The Reds have.
I genuinely don't know. Like last year, there was a path forward where we saw guys who we were like, these guys have promise. It was Walker, it was Gorman, Wynn was on the way. And we had guys who were like, okay, we can see how this can turn around quickly. I don't understand how they've all gotten worse. I straight up don't understand it. And I don't understand even more how that's happened and no one's been fired. Are you just like saying that these players just aren't good anymore? Like, what is the reason? Why why were all these guys good under Jeff Albert and now they're bad?
Well, we had to
I
get rid of
genuinely
him,
asking.
remember? Twitter had to
When
get
did
rid
all
of
these
him
guys
because
have their
he
best
didn't play in the
years?
major leagues. That's what I was told. So he had to be gone.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just saying, but like, why? Jeff Albert wasn't fired, by the way, if that's what I said. He left, but
I know.
like,
I know.
why is this a thing? Why is Turner Ward just like bulletproof? I don't know if it's his fault, but I know he's not helping anything. Like, there's not one player who's helped.
Just a few things to keep in perspective here. Attendance down 11%. That's as of now. That's going to grow.
Oh
That's
yeah.
the fourth largest drop in
Mhm.
MLB, obviously behind the White Sox. I think it's the Angels, and I think it's maybe the Marlins. I think it's the Marlins.
Probably the Marlins.
I think that's right. But anyway, they are now on pace to draw under 3 million fans, the first time since 2003. I don't know what else opens up the DeWitts. I don't know that anything does that. It almost feels like they're also, in fact, so clueless at this point that they don't. They just. It almost feels like they pawned it off on Mosaic and said, "Whatever you think you should do." But I'm not spending money. Just here, just do whatever you
But
think you
even
should do.
then, though, like they're spending enough money to where this team should be better than it
But
is.
I'm not saying they're not spending money. Mosaic's not spending it wisely.
No, he's
That's an
spending it
argument.
stupidly, like over and over and over. Stop letting the guy spend money. Honestly, don't sign a free agent. I say that I actually like their last two free agent signings with Wilson and Sonny, but like I don't understand it. I don't know what any of the like. Why did Bill DeWitt fire Matheny? And he said, even 500 or just getting the playoffs isn't enough in this city, and I was just completely turned on against that. Like,
Well,
fine,
Matheny was
DeWitt,
here, what, five
if you don't
years,
want to,
6 years, six
huh?
and a half years? Was Matheny here 6.5 years?
From
6 years?
2013, from 2012 to 2018,
So seven
halfway through
years,
2018, six
six
and a
and a
half
half.
years.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, Ollie's only been here 2.5. So that might be why.
No, I'm saying why are they accepting it now? They're accepting being 500. It's like accepted. I don't understand why.
We all have so many questions, and it does just feel like I love what you said about the like, hey, let's let the young like I think you have to let the young kids play. Let's go and call Luke and Baker up. Let's get him as many at bats as we can. Let's go and get Herrera back up here. He's healthy. Let's get him some at bats. Let's go ahead and do it. But they're not going to. That is I think that's my concern, and I think that's the growing number of a lot of Cardinals fans who are in the camp of here's what maybe we should try. Like, but I don't
Yeah.
think that I think the DeWitts and I think the Cardinal pride will get in the way of doing a complete rebuild instead of what they're going to term a retool, which will be signing a guy like Kyle Gibson back. It'll be extending a Paul Goldschmidt. It'll be running it back with Newbar and Donovan. And then come August or July next year, we're going to be stuck in the same spot again. That's my concern. And I think that's a lot of Cardinals fans' concern. And I don't know that they even care. Like, I don't know that they even care.
I don't think they're gonna do that because I don't think 2 years in a row. I think Mo's gonna leave. I do. So I don't think whoever comes in next will do that because they're not gonna be like I don't understand how Mo's like so bad at his job now. What
Can
happened?
we? Okay, can I ask you a question? Because I don't understand like all the ins and outs of how the front office works. And I know that you don't probably either, but I do feel like you have a higher level of understanding than I do. If they know and Mo knows now he's leaving, like why is he allowed to make decisions where we're dropping guys off the 40-man roster when we could have keep like we just addressed? Like why I mean all he can do is essentially fuck it up for moving forward.
I mean, because he's still the GM. He's trying to get in the playoffs. That's why. Like he's still trying to get in the playoffs.
But dropping him does not help you get into the playoffs. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, let them add Riley O'Brien back to the 40 man.
Okay. All right.
Well, you
That's
asked.
fair.
That's why.
That's
I don't
fair.
know.
No,
I
that's a
mean,
valid answer. It's a valid answer.
like,
Um,
and Eric Fetty, like, why is he bad now? Do we make everybody worse?
yes. Yeah. Except Contreras. He's been awesome.
Yeah, he's probably not listening
What
to
do you
them.
think he's thinking right now?
I mean, you can just see on his face what he's thinking.
I want to sign with the Cardinals. They throw my ass under the bus for something that was incredibly should have never ever happened. And now I'm having one of the best offensive seasons I've had in my career. And no, it seems like no one else fucking even cares.
This might be
Like
the best offensive season from a catcher in Cardinals history. It's probably one of them.
it's got to be in the
It's probably like right up there with Ted Simmons. Like it
yeah,
has
I
to
would
be up
assume
there.
so. It's I don't know. I'm concerned about the future of this organization. It sucks being a fan right now, and I think that's going to be really represented come this homestand. I really truly do.
I hope
School's
so.
back,
Don't if you don't want to go to the games, don't go. Like,
right,
and I don't care if that makes them spend less money because they don't spend it wisely anyway. It might be better if they don't spend it because then we don't have to watch Miles Michaelis pitch. We can watch a young guy pitch. Like
bro?
I
I've
like,
you
and I
know
don't
where
even
I
want to
stand
trash.
on that.
I'm not trashing on Miles because whatever. Like players, their careers go downhill. It's baseball. It happens to everyone. So I'm not going to trash on him. But what did the Astros do when they realized Jose Abreu and Rafael Montero were no longer helping them at all?
They
They were
DFA'd
actually
them.
hurting them. How much they had like combined $60 million left on their contracts, and they DFA'd him.
Yep,
But we have 18 million or whatever is left on Michaelis, and he has to pitch every day, every fifth day. When
yep.
we know like he's like the third worst starter in baseball by ERA.
You know what's going to happen every night. That's why when people kept coming at me with, oh, he has 13 quality starts, every quality start except for about two, he went 6 innings and gave up 3 runs.
Yeah,
That's
he
a
either
four and a
goes
half
six,
ERA.
he either goes six and gives up three and gets a quality starter, or he goes four and gives up eight. Like why the
Yeah, he's just
so
not
so
good.
on
He
so the
hasn't been
off
good.
so like his good starts or average starts?
Yeah, it's
Great.
mind numbing. There's no doubt about it. And is there anything else you want to talk about with Walker before we move on just a little
Yeah,
bit, or
we
is
need
there
to
any...
get into Jordan Walker. Oh
Okay,
wait,
that's
I
kind
already
of what I
ranted
thought.
about it. I already ranted about it. But it just sucks. Like the young players in this organization deserve better. Just straight up, they deserve better than what they've been given. He's been jerked around so much. They sent him down twice, which basically was them signaling this guy's very important and we need to make sure we get it right with him. So they sent him down twice, which was fine, like whatever. How do you bring him back up in this circumstance? Because you have a manager reeling for his job, which is what it seems like by his comments. Let me see if I can pull those comments up real quick.
Yeah, it's
What you can give
intriguing
your
to
thoughts
see.
on it real quick.
Well, yeah, I just hate it. I hate it for him. And one of the things I was going to say earlier before you pull those up was the Cardinals were always, even after the 90s with the rebuild, when the DeWitts bought the team, you had Jocketty, you had Tony. Like the Cardinals have always been an esteemed franchise. Let me explain. Like, I don't know how often you watch it, and I don't watch it every day, but I watch it most days. They're not even talked about on MLB Network anymore. Like they run through they're like the B roll, no matter who they're playing with the highlights. It's like 2 seconds long, and there's not even a discussion of them even being an organization. They get the same play as the Oakland A's do.
Yeah, and they deserve less than the Oakland A's do because at least they have an interesting storyline about their owner. All right, here. I don't watch MLB Network, but yeah, I mean they don't deserve to be talked about. They're boring. Like, they're not fun. They don't have anything fun on their team. Win and
No,
Wilson are fun. That's literally it. Um, okay, here's his quote about calling up Jordan Walker and platooning him. The big league team has a need, and it's a right-handed bat. Well, if only there was a trade deadline to get another one. Not like Justin Turner was traded or anything. So that's the simplest way to look at it. It's not Mace. End of the year, you have limited amounts of game left, and our biggest struggle has been against left-handed pitchers. Yes, we know it's only Clayton Kershaw in Milwaukee, and everyone else has right-handed starters for the most part. So we were aware of that going into the decision we made. But there's also left-handed relievers Walker can take at bats against. We have a need, and it has to be someone that can play an outfield position. Okay, a couple things. One, that's basically saying that you know it's not smart because you're validating it so much. Two, why does he have to be an outfielder? Let me think. Brendan Donovan, Lars Nootbaar, Victor Scott, Tommy Pham. That's 4 outfielders. Am I missing one? Burleson, 5 outfielders. So you need 6. Why is Luke Baker on your 40-man roster?
Bingo. That's
Why is
what I was
Jose
going to say.
Fermin on your 40-man roster? Why is Thomas JC in your organization? None of them can come up. Not one of them. It has to be the guy that you should be prioritizing more than anyone in your organization to develop properly. Are you like you're legitimately stupid? Like this isn't even like defensible. You're dumb. You don't know what you're doing, any of you. They all need to be gone. This is embarrassing. Like it's an embarrassing way to run any organization. I don't could you imagine like if the Orioles called up Jackson Holiday and he wasn't even playing?
Right. I agree.
Like, did they lose all faith in Jordan Walker? Because let me say something. If you can't develop that guy to be at least a good major league player, not all, it doesn't have to be an MVP, but at least an above average one, then you can't develop anyone. Anyone.
Also, what he also just told us, add to it, you said 2 things, but he also told us that Walker will play one of the 3 games this weekend against the Dodgers. He also told us that.
Then, like, seriously, fire them all. DeWitt, are you watching or are you asleep? Do we have a Joe Biden situation with Bill DeWitt? Like, is he watching this? Does he know what's happening? I don't understand.
I'm going to go back to, I don't think he cares. I think he checks his bank account at this point. I think that's
Who's
where he
the
is in his
Cardinals
life.
who's the Cardinals version of Nancy Pelosi that can talk him into getting out of here?
Weekend at Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell. They're probably friends. They're probably friends. Someone who is it? Can the third wallet go out there and tell him to leave?
Is it a weekend? It's weekend at Bernie's maybe at this point. The problem is the third wallet like said,
Yeah, he said
we're
the
not
payroll
spending
thing.
any money if the
And
fans
he says
don't
the
show up.
quiet part out loud, which is
Right.
funny.
So I think he's just an absolute moron.
They're all dumb.
I think, bro,
these aren't even defensible moves here. Like we're never
I'm
getting invited back
50.
to media day
I've seen
again,
the
and that's
Cardinals
fine.
play in 6 World Series. 7, 6, 7, 7, 6, 7. 7 World Series in my life. All right. I might never see another one.
I've been alive for 4 of those so they were bad for a while before I was born.
Yeah, you 3 in the 80s and then
I mean,
4
it's
in the
literally
2000s.
this is just the 90s again.
Yeah. At least
Except
the
for they
90s.
had
Hold on.
good
We had
players.
Ray Lankford and Bernie Gilkey. That was all. And Greg Jeffries. That was awesome.
We're never getting invited to media day again, which is fine after this podcast. But I I I don't think I've never been so like normally we're on here, we're like, this is some of these criticisms are a bit outlandish and ridiculous and they're hyperbolic. I honestly have never felt so confident in their opinion that they just don't know what they're doing
It
at
does.
all.
I
Like they
think,
just don't know what they're doing.
which is what makes me very concerned for 2025. Like that's
Why?
the
Why do
thing.
we care? What are you concerned about? They're gonna be bad. What's the
Oh,
concern?
okay,
There's no
but here,
concern. It's a
no,
fact.
no,
They're
no,
gonna
no, no.
suck.
If we're bad because we're playing young players to get them ready for the like Baltimore did, or like
It's too
other teams have
late.
done, okay, hold on, that's fine. But if we're bad because we re-signed Goldie and Lars Nootbaar continues to have a 600 OPS with 6 whatever it is,
Well, they should
and a
keep playing
10
Newport
WRC
probably, but
plus
only in the
against
last month.
only in the he's only been back
Well,
for a
I'm just
month and a
saying he doesn't
half.
have that for the entire year.
He's only been back for a
Yeah.
month and a half. He's hurt
Well,
all the time.
Newport and Donovan, those guys should continue playing if they move forward and they're not winning, because just an off chance that one of them becomes good. Or go back to when they were good, when they were under a real hitting coach, maybe we can say. Um, I I don't know. Like I don't know. Like what I don't know what to say.
Is
They're gonna be
it?
bad. I don't.
I
What,
don't know this answer. I think I know the answer because I think it goes so much bigger than what we're just seeing on the card. But it does seem like other organizations would look at a guy like Luke and Baker or Sajasi. By the way, Sajasi was just player of the month in the Cardinals organization like not too long ago, right? So let's not forget that.
He'll be a
Okay.
platoon bat in 2027.
And when you have a guy like Luke and Baker who's about to break like multiple minor league home run records, it does seem like when you can't hit lefties, and you honestly, let's be fair, you can't hit anybody. You're minus 63 run differential, bro. Minus 63. It's the third worst in the National League, behind Colorado and Miami. That's who you're grouped in with now. You're in the bottom 3 to 4 in every offensive category. It does seem like rolling out Goldie and Nootbaar and fill in the blank every night instead of letting maybe somebody else try to see if maybe you get a spark is just like banging your head against the wall.
It's just dumb. Like
I
once
mean, we
again,
know
like
what they say
that's the
about
only word
insanity, right?
we can use right now. Even though I hate that because that's not the actual definition. But
Well,
yeah,
it
it's
is.
just
I mean, obviously, it's not the definition. It was just
Yeah, I know. It just
Updated
doesn't.
definition.
It just doesn't make any sense. Like what they're doing makes no sense. I don't even know what to say anymore. I can't even validate any of it. Like any
Yeah, it's
move
pretty
they made
frustrating.
in the last like month. Like what? Why is Ivan Herrera at AAA? Why?
Uh, Let me explain this to you. This is the simplest I can say. BD Dub, you're not listening at this point because after everything Caleb and I just said, you probably turned it off. And I don't know, think you would
He's
listen
probably taking a
anyway.
nap.
Right. A nap. Absolutely. If you're listening, it's getting loud with the fans, and we need some adjustments to be made
Actually, it's getting
with the
pretty
Cardinals.
quiet because people
Well,
don't
that
care
is the
anymore.
scariest part.
People don't care. How about that? You've successfully defeated Cardinals fans. They don't care about
Yeah.
you anymore. How's that? I wonder how that tension is going to be when the Blues are playing.
You know what's interesting is like the city draws well, the Battle Hawks draw well. The Cardinals people have said we're done. I've seen so many people that are season ticket. Now, we also know that when they type something, that could be emotion and not be actually what they do. However, I've seen so many people say they're not renewing their season tickets because they're taking a beating on the resale market right now with them when they never have had to do that before.
I bought bleacher seats a couple weeks ago for $1 before fees.
I think he said, yeah.
$1 before fees.
And so it was $28. Is that what it was total?
Yeah, the fees were almost, I paid SeatGeek more than I paid the reseller or whatever I used. StubHub. I don't
Yep,
know what it was. Yeah,
whoever it was.
I was at the game. I was at the game that they won when they were still in a playoff spot or right, maybe a game out of one. They were right there. I don't remember who they were playing. The Mets, maybe. I think the Mets. No,
Yeah.
whatever. It doesn't matter. Either way,
Race. They were playing the race.
Rays. Okay, and it was the lowest announced attendance, so we know it wasn't actually there. Was 30,000 people were announced to have bought tickets for a night game past like when the school's out. So in the summertime, it was the lowest in like 10 years, 20 years,
Yeah.
something like
It's
that.
gonna get worse. It's gonna get way worse.
And it's
And
noticeable. There's no
yeah,
traffic downtown when you're leaving Cardinal games anymore
sell the
because
team, bro. Sell the team. That's what they need to do.
I don't even know if he needs to sell the team. He just
He
needs to
does.
get. I mean, what I mean, I guess, but I mean, be careful what you wish for. Did you watch Major League? I don't want that. I don't want that happening.
Well, she was trying to sell the team. Like that's kind of what we're living through right now. Like next year, we're gonna have Pedro Serrano is gonna be our catcher.
He wasn't a catcher; he was a right fielder.
Oh yeah, that
Jake
was
Taylor
never
was the
mind.
catcher.
Yeah. My apologies. That's right.
I would
Taylor.
take Jake Taylor over Pedro Paz.
Jake Taylor. Yeah. Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
is Pedro? I don't understand. So Pedro Paz, by the way, has like allowed as many stolen bases as Ivan
Yes.
Herrera,
Yep.
and that's the reason he's not up here.
My guess is he's hitched his that I mean Bernie said it. Like Pajes is one of them who have attached themselves to the right people in the clubhouse, and that sure does feel I'm not in the clubhouse. I don't have that but it
Why do
does feel
they
like Bernie's on to
care?
something.
Why do they care? Why could you possibly care if you ruffle someone's feathers when they have a 5 ERA?
They sure seem to. They sure seem to.
Like why do I care if it's Sonny Gray? I don't care, dude. I
I
couldn't
think
care
it's
less
beyond
about
that.
what Sonny Gray feels.
I think you've got Nolan Arenado, you got Paul Goldschmidt, you got Matt Carpenter.
You
I
saying
think
they all
that's
hate
the
Ivan Herrera? I don't think so.
no, but I'm saying if you
No, he's too young
I'm
and
simply
exciting.
repeating what I'm paraphrasing what Bernie said, and Bernie did not list any names. I did. He did not do that. I'm simply saying I think he's on to something there. That's all I'm saying. It does feel like
I
that
just don't
is.
understand.
You've seen it in classrooms. You've seen it on sports teams. You know exactly what he's talking about.
I know what you're saying. I just don't understand why the organization isn't trying to win games.
Well, I think here's the problem: the organization, the ownership, is not paying. They're just trying to make money. That's
But
where
those
I'm
aren't
at.
even like ownership decisions. Those are just
So
like
Mo, hold
natural
on.
roster
I'm trying
churn.
to answer your question. Mo, 1 foot out the door,
Okay.
trying to stay relevant, but also 1 foot out the door. And it's like you said, it seems like Ali might have hit his head.
Honestly, did Wilson take a bat to Ollie's head after one of these games? Is that what
Does
happened?
it feel? I shouldn't say this. Does it feel like Ali doesn't want to stand up to the veterans? Maybe you think there's something
I don't
there.
I
I
don't
don't know.
know
I'm
because
asking. That's
I think that's
speculation.
an unfair thing to I just
Okay,
don't know. Like
that's
I
fine. I
can't.
don't either. I'm
Because like
just
he
asking.
wasn't
I'm
afraid to
grasping
stand
for
up to
straws.
But he wasn't afraid to stand up to Yachty and Albert when they weren't playing every day in 2022. So why would he now be afraid of Tommy Pham? I guess Tommy Pham has been stabbed twice, but I still
Maybe
don't think you should be afraid of him.
maybe he's in the fantasy league with him. He saw what
I
happened.
don't know. I don't know. I just don't get it. Like Lance
Okay,
Lynn's
let's
gonna come
get.
back. You know what's even funnier? The one young guy who's really been in the rotation that's been impressive, Andre Palante, Lance Lynn and Steven Matz are coming back, so he's gonna be out.
Yeah, he wasn't good last time, but yes,
I think he was good his last outing. I think he was
I
better the
thought
one
that was
before
in
that.
Cincinnati, right? I thought he wasn't good.
Did he
Maybe
pitch
I'm
in
wrong.
Cincinnati? I don't think he
Maybe
did.
I'm
He
wrong.
did.
Maybe
He
I'm
didn't
wrong.
pitch in
Okay.
Cincinnati. Who they faced before Cincinnati? Do you remember? I don't remember.
It was bad, whoever it was. I don't even care.
Royals? Royals. Yeah, he pitched
Yeah.
really well against the Royals. He threw like
Okay.
6-1 earned.
Here's how bad it is for this guy. I watched the Little League World Series over the Cardinal game,
At least they
which, by
play
the
some
way, is
kind
a
of passing.
terrible brand of baseball. It's terrible.
Yeah, so bad.
We can get into that at a later date. We don't have to get into that now. Let's get a few things around the league. I'm not making predictions. I'm done. I don't
I
care enough
will.
to make a
I
prediction.
will.
Go
I think
ahead.
they get swept.
All right. I love it. Let's go with it. Let's roll with it.
Sonny Gray's probably going to pitch on Sunday, give up 4 home runs, and then say, "I know what I need to do. I just have to do it." Then
Yeah,
maybe do
bingo.
it. Maybe
Bingo.
now's the
And
time to do it.
Pages will catch 2 of the 3. So, and Walker will play once. And if they bring in a right-hand reliever, they'll pinch it. Well, they can't pinch it.
Well,
Crawford. Crawford. They'll
hey
pitch it
Jordan,
Crawford.
I know you just gained your confidence back, but you're going to play one time this weekend. And it's
Yep.
going to be against Clayton Kershaw. Good luck.
Yep. And then you're going to play maybe against Milwaukee, but after that, we don't face any lefties. So we're just going to put you right over there on the pine next to your buddies. That's what they'll
What's
do.
the lot? I just don't understand.
No.
Why is
Okay,
Tommy
let's
Pham
go
an
a few
everyday
things around.
player?
Let's try to uplift. Right. We already talked about the Brewers. By the way, shout out Brewers. You're way better than we thought you were. That's on me. I'm rooting for them. Devin's coming back. I'm rooting for them. That's who I'm rooting for now. Huh?
He's back already.
Okay, so he's back. I told you I've been watching the Little League World Series. That's where I'm at right now. But also shout out Aaron Judge, fastest to 300 home runs. How many do you think he ends up with? Give me a number.
500. 500.
Like on the spot. Like we're talking Stan Musial, who had like 3,000 hits or Clemente 3,000 on the spot.
515. Well,
You
how
don't
old is
think
he?
he hits?
32?
Yeah.
And that'd be like, assuming that he doesn't have injury problems again, which he's had in his career, like that would still be hitting like 40 home runs in the next 5 years. Like a year in 5 years. That's a lot to get 200 more home runs. Like,
He seems slowing down. He seems to be getting better.
I mean, he will eventually. Like Goldie won an MVP at 35. He was getting better, and then he got worse.
I think he gets above 550. That's my guess. I think he goes north of 550.
I don't know. I mean, look at the players that have hit 600 and how long they were great.
I'm not saying he gets 600. I'm saying I think
If
he
Aaron
gets that
Judge wouldn't have
550
been in the
number.
minor, if he wouldn't have been in the minor league till he's 25, he probably would get to 600.
Well, yeah, he played 3 years of college, right? I think was it San Diego or something like that, right?
Fresno, I think.
Was it Fresno?
Fresno
It was one
State?
of those. One of those.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think he's the second best. I think he's the third best right-handed hitter I've ever seen. No, fourth best right-handed hitter I've ever seen.
Diamondbacks best record since June 1st in baseball.
Them in the
National
good
League.
for them in the Padres.
Right. Who do you think? That's what I want to get to. Who do you think makes the wild card out of the National League? Give me him.
I think Padres and Diamondbacks are locks right now. And then it's probably between the Braves, Mets, and Cubs. Are they the ones right there?
So Braves are 2 games back or Braves are the third right now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Mets are 2 games back. The Giants, Cardinals, Reds are all 4.5 back of that last spot. And the Cubs are 6 out, which, by the way, is hilarious that the Cubs are going to catch the Cardinals. That's fucking hilarious. But do you trust the Giants to make a run?
No, I think they're bad.
They've been playing well.
All right, here's what I think is going to happen. You ready? I think the wild card is going to be the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, and the Braves.
The Dodgers.
And I think the Padres win the division.
Okay, all right.
They're 2.5 back of the Dodgers right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Padres win the West. That's my prediction.
Last thing I'll ask you about this because I do know
Mike Schilt, by the way.
Bingo, that's what I was going to add. How did you read my mind? Because I am so tired of the Mike Schilt thing, but it is awesome. It is just perfect for Twitter fodder.
Good for him, I guess.
Yeah, sure. He has a $380 million payroll and an owner and a GM who will go get anybody he wants whenever he wants them. He didn't even have to tell him he wants them. The GM will just go get them.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Ollie would bench Jackson Merrill, though, so I don't know.
I mean, you would probably platoon him, yes.
I just pulled a splinter out of my shoe.
Final thing it looks literally, blink twice if you're okay. It looks like you've been kidnapped.
Okay, you should see what it looks like when that light's plugged in. It would look like I was going to heaven. So I turned it off.
Final thing, who wins the National League Rookie of the Year?
Jackson Merrill.
Okay. Because of what the Padres are doing?
Yes, and also I think when the Pirates fall really out of it, I think Paul Skeens gets shut down.
That's kind of where because I think right now he was, last I checked, I think the odds have dropped, but he was plus 5,000 or minus 5,000. Skeens was, and Merrill was like plus 450, 500 somewhere.
Merrill's
My
been
guess is that's
awesome,
come down. I
dude.
haven't been on FanDuel lately, so I don't know. But to me, it should still be Skeens unless he gets shut down and Merrill takes them into the playoffs
But
on the heater they've been on.
it feels like Merrill though, like he's hitting game tying and go ahead homers like twice a week. He's been
Yes,
awesome. Wish we had one of him.
we do. He platoons and he's going to play once against Clayton Kershaw.
But we do. He's batting like 120.
All right, this is the most dejected Caleb we maybe have ever seen. Just wait till next time.
Oh, what? Yeah. If there even is one,
All right, let's get out of here.
Mo
Cardinals
might
have
get
the
a
Dodgers.
shadow
I'm not
ban
even going
from
to tell you to go
YouTube.
watch them if you're in town. If you want to, please do. Be a fan if that's what you want to do. If you don't want to, we support that as well. That's your
I have
choice.
buy the hot dogs out of the stadium. They're $3 and the money doesn't go to him.
And the lady is super nice there in right field, right as you're walking towards from the oyster bar to Salt and Smoke. And also, first of all, peanuts are cheap, water's cheap, and hot dogs are cheap, and their hot dogs are good. Definitely buy everything right there. That's in the right field area. She is awesome. They've taken care of us for years. That's been our play for years. So I support
And
that.
go drink at one of the bars down there and get drunk before the game so you don't have
Yeah.
to buy their beers.
Well, my suggestion is the oyster bar, but whatever one you choose, you can choose. That's fine.
I don't know. They have $8 high noons now. It's wild.
Well, I drink the PBR tall boys. So,
$8.75 for a high noon is insane.
yeah. Well, that's like French Quarter prices, bro.
Not even, dude. No, it's more expensive than French Quarter prices.
Oh, all right. Let's get out of here. We will be back this weekend. Where are you going to be this weekend? We need to know. It's like, where's Waldo? Like, I never know where you are. Like,
It
we are
depends.
so sorry for this. This is all Caleb's fault.
It depends on when we stop. I mean when we do it again. So I don't know. Could be here,
Okay.
could be in Champaign.
Well, Sunday would be the play.
I paused an accident.
Where will you be on Sunday? That's all I need to know.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, who knows where Caleb will be hiding? And on Sunday, we will be back. We will be back on a regular rotation. Only one more move for Caleb. I don't have to move at all. I just got back from the beach today. Things are good, except for the Cardinals. So everybody have a fantastic weekend. If you're back to school, enjoy that. If you're a teacher, sorry about it. I'm still retired. Whatever. We'll talk to you soon. Go Cards.